Hello everybody, Brandon here. If you are new to the channel, this is the place where I am posting everything that I am painting here in the studio, doing time lapses of it, doing some tutorials of it and all that jazz. So maybe consider subscribing if you want to see some future videos. This particular video, I had posted a commentary on my Facebook page about what do you want to see me paint next, because I've been doing a series of smaller canvases. I had a comment, one of the first comments was maybe a forest of shadowing pines, which gave me an idea that I had painted something doing an all palette knife piece of work several months ago. So this is a painting that I did several months back, all palette knife. Did not use any brushes on that, where I did a scene in the woods, a little bit of a foggy atmosphere with some deer in the background. So I figured maybe let's revisit that type of scene and paint a small canvas painting here in the forest, some backlit shadowy looking trees with light source of the sun, maybe early in the morning, a little bit of a foggy atmosphere, put ourselves a little distant deer out there. So what we arrived at, so this is the finished product on a small 6x8 canvas. If you want to have a look at this process, let's go now. Alright, so I'm working on a 6x8 small canvas here again today, and I'm going to try to create a bit of a foggy early morning scene in the woods with maybe a deer standing off in the distance with like some sun rays shining through. So I'm just going to kind of work with some colors here in the grayed out blue spectrum and try to create the atmosphere that I'm looking for, and then after all that's dried out, maybe come back in with some glazing mediums and try to lay in my sun rays and create the foggy effect that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to come in here initially using a wash brush and try to cover some canvas here with a faded out, or should I say a grayed out blue color mix, by adding some titanium white and some blue together and a touch of black to the mix, and see what we can create in terms of a atmosphere that we're looking for. And my camera was giving me some fits there, but all you really missed me doing, I just faded this blue, grayed out blue color across the canvas and then brought in a little extra white right here and blended it out. My focal point of my light's going to be somewhere in that vicinity, so I brought a little bit more white in there. Now I'm going to add just a touch more black to the mix and start to fill in some areas that are going to be maybe some ground out there in the distance, but just adding a touch more black to it. Now I'm essentially going to do the same thing to start putting some indications of some trees back there, adding just a little bit of black to that original mix. And using the corner of this brush. Moving over to our liner brush now to put some indications of some stuff off in the distance. Now, while I'm giving most of that tree textured stuff time to dry, I'm going to come in here and add the indication of a deer standing back in there. And I'm going to go back into that original color of our fog, or our atmosphere back there, I guess I should say. And we will drop something in and see what kind of result we get with this color. That's matching it almost perfectly, so you can't even see it, so I'm going to darken that up now just a little bit. Alright, now that this is good and dry here, I'm going to come back in with some thinning gloss medium here for acrylics that I'm going to mix in some real light, some yellow that I'm going to put in here with this and really thin it down to make a glaze basically. So I'm really not going to know ultimately how this is going to look probably until it dries. But we're going to come in here and glaze in some yellow basically with this thinning medium, and this medium itself is kind of a pasty white, so that's probably what you're going to mostly see. As I move a little further away from the light source up there, I'm bringing a little bit more yellow ochre into that mix that I'm glazing with. Alright, so I think that's about all I'm going to do on this one. So it's a short, fun little piece there. Just a interesting little scene of contrasting dark and light here in the woods. Hope you enjoyed that one. Until next time, happy painting, everybody.